Welcome, wanderers of the unknown, to a tale as old as sand, or as scary as a night without Wi-Fi. Tonight, we journey back to the medieval sands of northern Africa, where Arab warriors and Berber spirits clashed in a saga of sword, survival, and spooky surprises. Picture this. It's a dark, dusty night in 7th century Egypt. The full moon is as bright as a camel's grin, and somewhere in the distance, you hear the eerie clanking of swords and the low murmur of a battle cry. But before you get too comfy, remember, this isn't just a bedtime story. It's a history lesson with a Halloween twist. The desert winds were howling like banshees, sand swirled like a wicked witch's brew. And camels? Well, they were just camels, but they had the haunted look of creatures that had seen too much. It was the year 639 CE, and the Arabian sands were not content with just scaring the local Bedouins. No, they were on the move, ready to spook their way into North Africa. Egypt awaits my brave souls, declared Amr ibn al-As, the Arab general who seemed more eager than a kid on Halloween night. He wasn't looking for candy, though. He was here for power, conquest, and a little bit of holy conversion. Egypt, then under the Byzantines, was about to get a knock on its door. A spooky Arab knock. The Byzantine soldiers guarding the land of the Nile were as jittery as a cat in a haunted house. They peered over the fortresses, wondering, who are these mysterious men of the sands? Why do they wear black robes? And did they just say trick or treat in Arabic? With swords drawn and prayers on their lips, the Arabs poured into Egypt like an ancient Halloween parade, bringing with them the gospel of Islam and a serious thirst for expansion. The Byzantines were soon haunted off the land, leaving Egypt in the hands of the new visitors. But the real horror story began when the Arabs reached the Maghreb, the land of the Berbers, where the spirit of resistance was as thick as pumpkin soup. The Berbers were no ordinary folks. They were the ancient masters of the hills, skilled in the art of spooky guerrilla warfare. Legends spoke of Berber warriors who could vanish into the shadows, attack without a sound, and spook even the bravest soldiers. The Arabs, undeterred, set up camp in Kairouan, modern-day Tunisia, a base they hoped would be more like Dracula's castle than a cozy bed and breakfast. From there, they launched attacks, sending shivers down the Berbers' spines. But the Berbers weren't ready to surrender their lands to the new cloaked visitors. One chilly night, under a full moon, the legendary Berber queen Kahina appeared, her figure silhouetted against the dark sky like a witch on a broomstick. Her eyes burned with defiance as she rallied her warriors, cursing the invaders in Berber tongue. "We won't be tricked nor treated," she vowed, leading her men into a battle as fierce as a zombie apocalypse. The Arab generals, feeling the chill in their bones, whispered among themselves, "This isn't just a fight. This is a Halloween special." But they pressed on, pushing through the Berber resistance with a mix of spooky tenacity and terrifying tactics. Now, here's where things get really spooky. Conversion. It wasn't just the Berbers' land the Arabs wanted. They were after their souls, too. Conversion to Islam wasn't always voluntary. It was as unavoidable as a creepy doll in a haunted house. Some Berbers, faced with the sword and the Quran, chose to become Muslims, though not without casting a few side eyes toward the Arab generals, thinking, "Is this a trick or a treat?" Others, however, clung to their beliefs like a mummy to its bandages. They saw conversion as a curse, a hex that would strip away their traditions. But over time, many Berbers began to realize that Islam, despite its spooky arrival, wasn't all that bad. In fact, it offered unity, discipline, and a new way to spook their neighbors. But just when the Arabs thought the Berbers were fully converted, boom! The Berber Ghost Revolt of 739 CE shook the Islamic Empire like a poltergeist in a library. Fueled by resentment over unfair taxes, discrimination, and the spooky sense of being second-class Muslims, the Berbers rose up like zombies from the ground. It was a ghastly uprising, full of blood, betrayal, and battle cries that echoed like haunted whispers across the desert. The revolt was successful, marking the first real victory against the Arab Caliphate, a historic moment that made the Arabs sit up and say, "Well, that was unexpected." Centuries passed, but the eerie legacy of the Arab conquest lingered like a ghost that refused to leave the attic. The Berbers had adapted to Islam, but they never fully lost their own identity. The Berber languages, art, and customs survived, rising from the dead in modern times like ancient spirits demanding recognition. Today, the Berber revival is like a Halloween resurrection. You can see it in Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, where Berber pride is as loud as a werewolf's howl. The Berbers, the original masters of the spooky desert, remind the world that their story is far from over. They've made peace with the Arab invasion, like finally deciding to coexist with the ghost in your basement. And so, dear listeners, we leave the haunted sands of North Africa, where Berbers and Arabs battled under moonlit skies, shifting from foes to fellow believers in a tale that's more twisty than a corn maze. If you like this spooky history lesson, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because who knows what ancient horror we'll uncover next time. Remember, history isn't always as dead as it seems. Happy Halloween from Wakanda Tales Official.